you're best known in this part of the world for your buses that take children to school. So tell me a little bit about how that shapes your view of kids and children in general.
Well, as a child, I spent a lot of time in my father's company on Long Island, where I think to get rid of babysitting me, my father used to put me on a bus, and I would go to the World's Fair. If there was a charter to the beach, that was the driver was stuck babysitting me, I think. But through that all, after finishing college, I had the opportunity to go back and work for my family again, and starting in the shop, working under a bus, not knowing there was a top side of it, to then driving, getting my license and doing some driving. Then I worked my way into dispatch. Then I worked my way into the operations. So I was exposed to a lot of the aspects of operating school buses, and it's something when I had the opportunity to buy the Rockland operation from my family, I jumped at because it would give me the opportunity to take what little knowledge I knew and try to hone it. And I was blessed to be surrounded by some great people that has helped us build an enviable company recognized throughout New York State.
Uh, Tell me how that has shaped your view of everyone's children, not just your own.
I can, the easiest thing to say is who has not seen a child waiting for the bus on the first day of school? And for me, I still get goosebumps when I see that kid with the mom and it's their first day. Our whole company has been built around that type of warmth and feeling. That when you have an opportunity to deal with children and be a big integral, big piece of their education day, there's a lot of responsibility, but there's a lot of warmth that you get from it. I'm very proud of our people, all of them. They're so good with the kids.
Tell me, is that something that the company needs to push on its employees, or do they seem to have it?
As a family business, we try to keep that whole atmosphere of family. We always have. And we strive to find the best people we can to hire. And in doing so, we try to surround them with a company that people enjoy being at and are proud of doing what we do. I think a lot of that rubs off with them quickly when they come in, and if they don't, there are other places for them to work.
You're trusted with the most important thing that a community has, and that is its children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you make people feel confident that you're providing their kids the most important thing to them,
Mm-hmm.
safe and reliable and a positive experience every day?
That's the basis of our business. I mean, that's what we hope sets us apart from everyone else in the county. And I could refer back to, we have a driver in the Suffern schools, Dooney Burns, that was given their Mountie Superstar Award last year. That sounds corny and all, but the school district recognized her, not only for keeping a safe and secure environment for the kids, but in doing so, she knew every child's name. She knew, their families from seeing them come on. Some of them were second generation there, and the district just recognized the fact that this person goes that much further in taking care of and making sure that those children are the most important thing in our lives, and they are. It's a culture that we try to make sure that we live by here, day in and day out. It doesn't make a difference if we're doing a summer camp, a special needs run, even the ARC work that we do, down to our regular school service. Our customers are our children, and we have to take care of them with the utmost care that we can.
Besides that, your company is very much involved in the community as well. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Jack Anderson, who was the superintendent in East Ramapo years ago, first got me involved with the Rockland County ARC. No, excuse me. First got me involved
Let's
with.
start that again.
Okay. early on, Jack Anderson, who's the superintendent of East Round Post Schools, got me involved in the American Cancer Society of Rockland. And through that, I got an opportunity to meet doctors, hospital representatives, politicians, business leaders, and got to really find out a lot of what the county was lacking or needed. It helped drive us and get us more involved in community affairs. And since time, we've been more involved with ARC, the Rotary. We try to work with the Village of Spring Valley where we can. And in the Knights of Malta, we send vehicles throughout the world when we're done with them. So,
What about the relationship with the hospital?
the hospital is a unique relationship. All my children were born there, but outside of that, I first got involved with them through the American Cancer Society. I was asked to be on their board at one point. And we have worked with them with different opportunities to help our employees, to offer any type of free care and things that were available. And although it did not work the first time, we are now trying it again, and we're trying to get our people more involved in some of the precautionary things that the hospital has to offer. Unfortunately, if there are incidents in our industry, that's where we end up. And it doesn't make a difference if it's an employee or a customer or a child we transport. So to that end, we've always had a relationship with them. We've always been concerned and always wanted to do what we could to help.
Do you motivate your employees to be involved in the community, or do they kind of do it on their own?
Many do it on their own, especially on our management team. We try to make opportunities available if there are, we have a request now that's come in for some shuttle buses. We'll offer it to our drivers if anybody wants to donate their time. But for the most part, we try to make sure our office staff has and recognizes everything that we try to do for them and the community.
Mm-hmm. How do you see the relationship, and you touched on the precautionary things, the relationship between the company and the hospital growing in the next several years?
We just want to find out all the different things that the hospital has to offer that we're not even close to knowing. And we've been working with some of the key people there. They've enlightened us to things that none of us were even close to knowing. And there's so many things that are available that we have to find more things that we can offer our people that come at a very small expense. In doing so, it gives us the opportunity to help the hospital and hopefully help our employees.
You grew up on Long Island, and then you spent time down in Florida, and now you're in Rockland, or you've been in Rockland, and you've seen this community grow and get bigger and bigger, and yet it still remains a small community. Mm-hmm. With so many nonprofits in the county and so many things going on here, what's the responsibility of a business located in the county to be involved in the community?
I think the biggest thing is you have to give back to, this isn't a one-way street. We have to have the opportunity to find those people and those sources and those groups that are working close with us and turn around and do what we can to help them. As I say, we're involved. We do some work with ARC. That's gotten us drawn into helping them if and where we can. Everything that goes on in this county seems to be tied together somehow, either politically, religiously. Education is a big backbone of it, but healthcare is the other. So to that end, anywhere we can try to tie it all together, we try our best to.
Let me finish with just retouching again on the importance that you place on the lives of our children in this community. Mm-hmm. Tell me about your commitment to the well-being every day of these kids.
It's it's hard to benchmark or say that. Our industry, there are no classes to take. There's nothing like that. So what we try to do is we have safety vehicles that are on the road. They're not even included in our bid specs. We have all types of driver training. We have background checks, criminal background checks we have to do, drug testing. Before they even started drug testing, we started a year early. just to make sure that we were trying to be ahead of the curve and find the best people we could. Those other people that didn't want to be part of us, they could go to any other bus company they'd like. We've always felt that way. It doesn't make a difference if it's even the equipment. The state was looking at putting seat belts in all the school buses. When we found out about it, what we did was build our buses that were seat belt adaptable so that we could turn around, and when the law came in overnight, we could take all of our existing buses and try to make them in full compliance. We've received grants. I just was reviewing, we just received a grant for 2 more electric small vehicles with the EPA and with NYSERDA. So we do everything we can to try to provide our employees, who are the front line of dealing with our children, with the best technology. We try to train them with the best and the most current knowledge that's out there. And as a company, we try our best to make sure that we've researched every person that's out there to see that there are no past hiccups or problems that might ultimately, come to rear its head at, of course, the worst possible time. So
Almost everybody, or most people who will be in the room the night that this video is shown, has put their kids on a bus.
Mm-hmm. Myself included.
Myself included too, and I was there on the first day of school with all 3 of mine.
Yeah.
Your unspoken agreement with the parents in this community.
Mm-hmm.
Touch on that just a little bit, that you've got their greatest asset in your hands.
Our greatest concern is their child. I mean, our philosophy here just motivates around there. And I can tell everyone that I truly believe in my heart of hearts that we try to give them the best person that we can on the safest vehicle available, that is going to take care of their child just as much as they would if they were there. We go back to some of the days where we turned around, and whenever we had people involved, we'd ask them if they'd want to come in and work with us. The school systems have always worked, and partnered with us. And it didn't make a difference if it was Pearl River when they won the Excelsior Award. We were a big piece of that. Safety is our number one concern. Nothing else comes close. And unfortunately, there are always going to be incidents. We're all human and we all make mistakes. Our goal is to minimize that as best we can, provide the best people with the best support we can, to know that at the end of the day, we have done everything we could possibly do to give that child, our riding customer, the best experience we can. It's our philosophy, it's our way of life here. And it doesn't make a difference if I have to go out and drive if we're short, if my son goes out and drives, Tim Flood, Helen, anyone that has to go, they will go to make sure that that child is provided a safe trip to school and home. That's our goal.